Last week you saw me download a calendar for 2026, and today we're going to fill it up. If that sounds interesting to you, stay with me. Well, hi everyone, this is Crystal from A Crystal Clear Life, where we focus on planning, organizing, and living a more simplified life. And today I am coming to you with an idea that may have you, some of you feeling a little overwhelmed, but I want to tell you that if you do take advantage of what I'm going to talk about today, I think in the long run, your brain will be able to rest a little bit easier. Well, what am I talking about today? Well, today I want to show you a list of things, a brainstormed list of things that I have thought about that I want to go ahead and plan for next year. Okay? If that sounds interesting to you, please go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. Like really is the best compliment that you can leave me. Subscribe if you have not done so already. Turn those notification bells all the way on, and please feel free to share this video if you would like to. And if you stay till the end, I'm going to zoom out my screen and let everybody, take a good look at it. You can take a screenshot and use these ideas for yourself, okay? All right, well, with all that out of the way, let's jump into the computer. I want to show you what I've got going in OneNote today. All right, well, as you can see here on my screen, I am still in my long-term planning. And like I said at the top of this episode, I last week downloaded this 2026 calendar. I'll leave the link to that video up above and in the description box if you would like to see how to download a calendar like this for yourself. This is from Calendarpedia. But again, if you don't want to download it, guess what? It's just a table. So I have 3 columns of a table here, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18 columns across, and it just is a column, or 3 columns actually, for each month. So we have January, and then I have the number of each day, what day of the week it is for 2026, and then I have a blank space where I can put appointments or ideas or things that I want to do, okay? So for me, this is a long-term calendar that has worked very well, and I absolutely love it. As you can see over here, I also have this very same calendar as a perpetual birthday calendar, meaning I have, like my birthday is listed on there, and I don't really worry about what year it is. I just have the month and the day for myself, for the rest of my family, for my very close friends, anyone that I would like to remember their birthday. And I carry this calendar with me forward every year, so that I always have it. So if you went back to my very, very first 2019 planner in OneNote, you would see that perpetual birthday calendar, okay? I don't want to have to recreate it every year. It works great, but it's the same kind of layout that you see here on the screen, okay? So in addition to birthdays and anniversaries, I have a lot. I have a lot of ideas. And as I was brainstorming, I kept thinking about other things. And well, some people have kids in school, and some people have pets, and some people have this, and some people have that. So I'm going to say to you today, pick and choose what you need, those ideas, and leave the rest alone. Let's go ahead and get some things on this calendar. Now, one thing that I want to mention to you is sometimes, like you see here in the month of May, sometimes I just will put a note for myself up here at the top. So for example, this one says Summer Musical Theater, and there's a link to that Summer Musical Theater page that I want to check back in next May, meaning I want to look for tickets for what's coming up for the summer schedule. So maybe you have a theater group that you like, or maybe you have a concert venue that you like, and you just want to put a link up there so that when May comes around, you go, oh yeah, I remember I wanted to go and look for those theater tickets, okay? It's not an event that has to happen on a specific day, but it is something that you might want to take care of during that particular month. Okay? So there'll be other things that you could add up there. Some of the things you might know exactly what you're doing and you want to put that on a particular day. Okay? So we'll be jumping back and forth today between this 2026 calendar and my year-long planning ideas, which is right here. All right, well, as you can see, this year-long planning ideas, again, is a table because I love to organize things in tables in OneNote. But before I get started with all the meat and the details about what is in this table, the stickers that you see today are from one of my favorite shops, DCPDigitals. And this is that character that she calls Sassy Cat. And so you see up here, he's doing a little bit of planning, but first coffee. Yes, I did have a cup of coffee before I sat down to film this late afternoon. And then he's just here cute with his little ball of twine. And you'll see some others as we go along. Okay? All right. So again, I'll leave a link for DCPDigitals in the description box below if you would like to go and check her out. She does some really, really cute things. Okay? All right. Let's get started here. One of the things that I was thinking about that was kind of a catalyst for this whole thing was, you know, you get those phone calls about, well, did you schedule your mammogram? Have you called your gynecologist? You know, all those kinds of things. So that got me started thinking about, well, I really should go ahead and schedule these things, and let me go ahead and schedule them for next year as well. Sometimes I go to the doctor every 6 months, and so, you know, it just kind of rolls over into the next year. So I started making a list of all of the kinds of health and wellness things that you might want to schedule on your calendar, okay? So for example, and this would be for you and anybody else in your family, eye exam, dental visits twice a year, mammograms, OBGYN visits, dermatology visits, yearly physical. And for me, that includes blood work, so they can check my blood sugar levels. Any counselors that you might be seeing, therapy sessions that you might go to, physical therapy or a chiropractor that you might visit. You want to schedule those if you see them on a regular basis. Any immunizations or updates that you might need for that. I know that I'm due for a pneumonia shot, and so, you know, I need to go ahead and get that scheduled. Any training sessions that you might have or workouts that you want to do on a regular basis, any events that you do. We do a run in the local park, and that money that's raised stays in the park. So I always put that on my calendar every year so that I can make sure that I don't forget to go and do that particular event, okay? And not me, but there are lots of people out there who do get a haircut now and then. And so you might want to schedule your hair appointments or your nail appointments or spa or whatever it is you do. You might have a masseuse that you see regularly, that kind of thing. You might want to go ahead and schedule some of those things out, okay? All right, so that was my first thing. And then I started thinking about the next important thing to me, which is kind of my date nights, you know, with my husband. So couple date nights are always fun. And then I also thought, now I only have one child, but I often thought that if I had multiple children, I would like to do, you know, kind of a date night or an event day with each particular kid that I had. Like I said, I only have one, so if she and I plan a shopping day or a lunch out or something like that, we're good. And then I also think sometimes it's nice to take a date night with yourself. Go and do something that you would enjoy, and it doesn't matter if anybody else is with you. You're just going to do it for your own peace of mind and some time to reflect with yourself, okay? All right, the next category I have over here is your pets. Let's not forget about them. They need checkups, they need vaccinations, rabies, that kind of thing, and they also might need grooming appointments, okay? And then the next one, this activities is a very, very broad category. So festivals that might be happening. We have a Wren Festival in the state of Maryland that is very well attended. I know that there are, you know, fall festivals that go on. There are heritage days that go on. There are all kinds of festivals that you might want to look into, Oktoberfests and that kind of thing. Then there are concerts, and again, around me, they do summertime concerts out in the park. There are some, concerts that are related more to the Christmas season. And so maybe it's just a concert for a band that you enjoy seeing. So concerts was something that I was thinking about. Also county fairs or craft fairs or, maker fairs, that kind of thing, and farmers markets. So all of those kinds of things that you might want to attend would be very interesting to put, go ahead and schedule on your calendar, especially if you know if they have them in the same time every year and you just don't want to miss that opportunity. Okay. We have a book festival near me, and I put that on my calendar every year. It often conflicts with a trip that I take on a yearly basis, but from time to time they move it to a different weekend, and sometimes I'm able to go. So I always want to make sure that I list those things on my calendar so that I don't miss them if I really, am in town and have time to do that. Okay. Another idea is religious celebrations or services that might occur on a regular basis or on a specific day of the year. So, for example, in my church, I know that the Christmas Eve service is always going to be on Christmas Eve. So I can go in and write Christmas Eve service, and that is usually at 7 p.m. So I know that it is an evening program. And I can go ahead and list that there, okay? The book festival is usually this first Saturday in September, so I'm going to list that there as well, okay, so that I can remember that. Now, sometimes it's very good to put a link with things like I have a link here. So if I wanted to put a link for that book festival, it would be a good idea to go out to Google and get that link for the book festival and add it to this wording. So all I would need to do here is book festival. Actually, let me go out and get the link really quickly. And we'll do book festival. Okay. And so I can go here and I can add a link and I can paste in that link, and there we go. Now, I know that the link for this was for 2025. So when I click on it, it will bring up the 2025 book festival. And that's fine. They use the same link every time. So, it will work. It will at least trigger my memory to go and look for that book festival. Okay. All right. So back to our list. Let's see. Community organizational events. So maybe you're a member of the Lions Club or the Elks Club or the Moose or the American Legion or the Masons or the local library company, or maybe you're a committee member on the town council or something like that. You have community organizations that you belong to, and they have events on a regular basis. It's a good idea to go ahead and schedule those. Maybe schedule the regular meetings for those particular activities or any special events, okay? I personally attend a lot of Parks and Recs events. We have a lot of, concerts and that kind of thing. Shakespeare in the Park that I enjoy going to. So I always want to put those there as well. So Parks and Rec. So I'll go back here again in usually June. So at the top of June, I will write Shakespeare in the Park, just as a reminder for me that that is something that I want to go and do, okay? And I can get the dates as it gets closer, okay? All right. Now, maybe you're somebody who is involved in some kind of performance thing. Maybe you play an instrument, or maybe you or a singer or an actor or something like that. And maybe there are auditions or tryouts that you want to do, rehearsals, practices that you need to put down, performances. when my daughter was in her choir, there were always performances that took place in the month of January around the Epiphany holiday. And so, you know, I always knew to block out those couple of weekends because I knew the performances would be there and I didn't want to overcommit myself, okay? And then any volunteer commitments that you might have. Moving on. Birthdays and anniversaries. We talked about that perpetual birthday calendar. You also could go back in here and add it to this if you would like. So you could go in and put your, you know, your spouse's birthday, your own birthday, your children, you know, all of that kind of thing, and just fill in these boxes. So, you know, I could come in here and say this is, you know, my birthday, as just a reminder, okay? Now, I will say for birthdays and anniversaries, for example, my husband and I, our anniversary is in May, okay? I might want to make a note for myself and set a reminder up here at the top, maybe the beginning of the month it says anniversary reminder, so that I could go ahead and make reservations for us or plan a special dinner or buy a gift or buy a card. If it's somebody's birthday and you have to mail that, you need to have, you know, time to do that. That's why on my monthly dashboard, I always take a look and see who the birthdays are that are coming up so that I know what cards I need to buy, what things I need to send out in the mail, texts I need to do, and that kind of thing. Okay? All right. Back to our list. All right, so birthdays and anniversaries, reminders for contacts, and birthdays of friends as well, okay? Then sports came into my head. I'm a baseball fan, and I was thinking about opening day. And for opening day, we don't usually go to opening day games, but I do like to celebrate the day and, you know, maybe wear my uniform shirt for the team that I love. And we have hot dogs for dinner and, you know, kind of make it a themed day just to make it fun. Any games that I might want to attend, maybe I own, you know, like I have a season's pass and have a 5-ticket package. I want to go ahead and choose those games and go ahead and put them on my calendar so that I don't miss out for those. Maybe you have a child that's in sports and there are practices that they have to go to or playoff games that they have to do. Maybe they're in a tournament or a traveling game. You want to get those on the calendar. And then any awards celebrations. Maybe you want to celebrate, again, back to baseball. You want to watch the World Series. You know, you want to mark it on your calendar and maybe you want to have, you know, some kind of get together with friends or something like that. Okay? All right, so I know there are a lot of big sports fans out there. I even know people who travel to games. We actually did that last year. We went up to Pittsburgh to see the town of Pittsburgh, and my favorite team happened to be playing the Pittsburgh Pirates at that time. So that was kind of fun. All right, and then some maintenance things that you might want to put on your schedule. I have home maintenance things like, you know, maybe you get your HVAC serviced at a certain time in the spring for the air conditioning and then in the fall to make sure that your heating system is working correctly. Maybe you're somebody who has windows that get cleaned on a regular basis. You want to schedule that out. Maybe gutter cleaning, which is another good thing I should add to the list. I'm going to add that right now. Okay. And then maybe there are some vehicle maintenance things that you want to do, maybe oil change, tire rotation, that kind of thing. And then your financial maintenance, you know, when are your sinking funds due? The sinking funds are those big, you know, things like auto insurance or, you know, those big kind of taxes and, you know, that kind of thing, those big things that you save for. So when are they due? It might not be a bad idea to go through here and say, like for me, for example, I have 2 car insurances that are due in the month of December, okay? Which makes, you know, spending for Christmas a little bit hard when you've got these 2 big bills that are due already, okay? All right. So that's something to keep in mind. And then tax preparation. When do you want to have your taxes prepared? Do you have a set appointment with somebody? Do you need to schedule an appointment? Do you like to try to have them done by the end of February? Are you somebody that waits until April? Just go ahead and schedule that on your calendar so that it doesn't get missed. And if you're somebody like me who has to file quarterly, as a business owner, then, you might want to schedule those payments as well. Okay. All right. And then over here to holidays, you see Sassy Cat is just having a great time over here. This little sticker, I'm going to move him down just a little bit. There you go. Holiday related events. Now that, again, you could think big holidays like, the winter, Christmas holidays, Hanukkah, that kind of thing. But you can also think about, Easter events. You could think about 4th of July events, Memorial Day events, Labor Day events, all of those kinds of things, okay? So there might be light displays or fireworks that you want to put down, that you want to go to, concerts that are related to those particular things as well. And then let's not forget those very important days of Mother's Day and Father's Day here in the United States, which are in May and June for us. I know they are celebrated in different times in different countries, okay? And then any other religious holiday celebrations. For example, you might have a celebration where, you're celebrating Ramadan or you're celebrating Hanukkah or something like that. Okay? All right. Moving on. Next, I was thinking about traveling. And I was thinking about, not only going on vacation, which a lot of people do, but over the past few years, I have been doing what I call local tourist days once a month. And what I do is I just kind of pick a small town that's within a 2-3 hour driving radius of my house. And we go and spend the day there. Maybe we spend one night there and 2 days, and we just explore the town and see what there is to do. Maybe there's an event going on. Maybe there's a concert or a play or a show or a festival. We've been to towns before for their Oktoberfest, and that was really fun. But planning out those local tourist days and being really intentional about making sure that you go somewhere and do something new every month is really important to me. Okay? All right. Another thing that you might want to schedule is weddings or reunions, family reunions, class reunions, all that kind of stuff. Holiday get-togethers, again, not just the Christmas holidays, but maybe, maybe you're somebody like me and my neighborhood gets together every 4th of July and we kind of have a little, cookout gathering and that kind of thing. All right, maybe you might want to schedule some camping trips. Maybe you go every October to a certain spot to see the leaves or, whatever it is, and you want to go ahead and schedule that. Blocking it off, it can always be moved if you need to, but blocking it off so that you don't forget and you make time for yourself and to be with those that you care about. That's the important thing, okay? All right, then maybe some work conferences that you might have to travel for. Maybe there's a conference that comes up every year or every couple years that you want to keep out for. And also hobby conferences. I know, I'm a quilter, so some of the quilt expos that might be around, you might want to travel for that. You maybe, go to if you like tennis or something, you go to Wimbledon for, just for an experience, just to check it out. That would be cool. I don't know. Okay, lots and lots of things to think about for travel there, okay? Then planned time with friends. Again, this is one of my goals. And I want to make sure that I'm spending time with my friends at least once a month. And I schedule different events with different friends during different weeks of the month. So sometimes we have game nights with friends. Sometimes we have dinners. Sometimes I go out to lunch with friends. Sometimes I do book clubs with friends. And then sometimes I've been doing like bingos with friends. So going and we did a quilt bingo. That was really fun. We did a craft bingo. That was really fun. And we used to get together and play bunco. We have not done that for a long time, but I put it on my list because maybe that's something I want to do again. I don't know. All right. So planned time with friends. All right. Now moving on, let's look at some work things. Fortunately, I'm retired now and I don't need to worry about this with other people. YouTube is my work now, so I am kind of setting my own schedule for that. So scheduled time off for me, I don't really have scheduled time off, but I can film ahead if I want, if I know that I'm going to be out of town for an extended period of time, and that is really helpful. I'm actually very proud of the fact that since I started this YouTube channel, I have been able to produce a video every Friday for you guys and have not missed one single Friday. I'm very proud of myself. All right, also for work, some of the things that you might want to do is list any major projects that you might have coming up. Depending on the line of work that you are, that project list could be very extensive. And you might also want to write down any major deadlines that you have, when your APRs are done or due, when your fiscal year is ending, when your new budget has to be submitted, all of those kinds of things, okay? Or if you're in a different kind of work, you might have seasonal themes or programs that you're working on. My daughter is a librarian, and so it seems like every quarter they have a new theme that they're working on. Like this summer was art or camping or something like that. So, that might have something, to do with your work schedule. Okay. All right. Then parties. Let's get back to having some fun after we've been at work all this time. Parties to host or attend. Maybe you have a special birthday, one of the big ones coming up that you want to celebrate. Maybe it's a child's 16th birthday or a baby's first birthday or your own 45th birthday, something like that. Maybe it's a milestone anniversary, or maybe you are somebody who has a very special celebration for every anniversary, wedding anniversary that you have with your significant other. And that's special as well. Okay. Also think about any baby showers that you might need to have in the upcoming year, any bridal showers, and go ahead and get those things scheduled if you can. If you know that somebody's going to retire and you're going to be doing either hosting or attending a retirement party, go ahead and get that on your schedule. Dinners, potlucks, soup nights, pie nights, all of that kind of thing is really, really fun. For example, if I go back to my 2026 calendar, I know that I do game night every fourth Friday. Fourth Friday. It's alliterative, so I can remember. So if I look here for January, that's the first Friday, second, third, fourth. Fourth Friday will be the 23rd. So I can say family game night, okay, there. And then I can copy that, because I know it happens every single month. We will go to February and we will say first, second, third, fourth Friday will be right here, and I can paste it in there. Let's go to March. 1, 2, 3, 4. You guys are getting the idea, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's not the same every single month, but I want to make sure there are lots of months that start with a Friday. 1, 2, 3, 4. And let's just do this last one. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. All right. So there's family game night. I will go back and do the whole rest of the list as we get, after I finish filming, but you guys get the idea. Another thing that we've been doing is these, murder mystery nights, which are kind of fun. We've done a couple where they're a larger group, and we've done a couple with a smaller group, and they were always fun. And we've even set up some escape rooms for each other, which was really, really cool. I did one that was kind of Dracula Halloween themed, and my daughter did one for us and the rest of the family that was more Christmas themed, and eggnog and, Christmas stories and all that kind of thing. It was so much fun. We spent all night trying to get out of that escape room. It was really, really fun. Okay. So go ahead and, write down those parties that you plan to attend. I kind of like to, again, with my local, tourist day, I kind of think it's really, really fun to go ahead and schedule an event. Maybe you want to do, maybe you want to do a pie day in March because that's Pie Day, right? Or maybe you want to do a Mexican themed party for Cinco de Mayo, that kind of thing. That kind of thing is really fun, and it's really exciting. Okay. All right. Let's see. Then I got back to school. Again, as a retired teacher, I don't think about school as much as I used to, but I do know that when those school calendars come out, as a teacher, we lived and breathed by those school calendars, and we hope that parents live and breathe by those school calendars as well. So if you have children in school, you might want to write down their first and last days of school, any early dismissals that they might have, conference days that are set aside, testing days, if your state is somebody that does a lot of testing, major field trips that are coming up, class parties, if you're still doing class parties, PTO or PTA meetings, teacher appreciation, which in the country of the United States usually happens the first week of May. And then when school is over, you might have summer camps to think about that your kids want to be involved in. They might want to go to Girl Scout camp or theater camp or music camp or, baseball camp or whatever it happens to be. So you want to get those on the calendar as well. Okay. And then over here in our very, very last box, you can rest easy because now most of the hard work is done. If you've taken the time and you've thought about all of these things and scheduled them on your calendar, all of that thinking is out of your head and is somewhere on paper. And then when somebody says to you, hey, would you like to do such and such, next March? Would you like to take, a weekend girls trip to go see such and such a concert? You can look at your long-term calendar and already know if you have time to do that or if you already are committed somewhere else, okay? So all of these things that you put on this long-term calendar do not have to be set in stone, but it is a great way to keep you from either overscheduling or missing something completely and underscheduling and then being stressed at the end going, I forgot I had this wedding and I needed to order the present. And now, we're going to the wedding and I don't have anything. You don't want all of that stress. So getting it out of your head, getting it down on paper. And now I have given you this brain dump cheat sheet or this trigger sheet that you can use to help plan some activities on your calendar. Hopefully that will help you. Now, I will say that there are probably some things that I have missed from this list. And if so, your homework, should you choose to accept it, is to leave me a comment down below and let me know what other things you think that I am missing from my schedule here, and so that other people could go ahead and get that written down as well. We could add it to the list, and we're helping each other out by creating these wonderful lists that are helpful for our planners and help us organize our lives. I just think that's great. Okay, well, as promised, I am going to back out here on this page and I am going to let you take a screenshot of this so that you have that for your own planner, whether it's in OneNote or whether you're a paper planner, it doesn't matter. This trigger list will be great no matter what. Okay? All right. Well, thanks again for joining me today. I really appreciate it. I look forward to reading your comments and hearing what I have left off my list. And now I need to get back to filling out my own calendar, and I hope that you will do the same. Until next time, here's hoping that you can live a more simplified and organized life through better planning. I use OneNote. Until next time, okay, bye.